Hello, folks. It's the Podsquad with Susan Moffat-Thomas, Pat Drake, and Wendy Card, and yours truly, Kathy Morrison. Thank you for joining us for New Bern Now's podcast, July 29, 2021. And this is episode 192.
200's getting close. 200's getting close.
Yeah, we're connecting you with people, places, and happenings in New Bern and surrounding areas. Join in the conversation by commenting on this live stream on New Bern Now's Facebook page.
Yes, but before we get started, we have a contest to be entered to win. Make sure that you comment during today's show on New Bern Now's Facebook page. And okay, Wendy, what do we got for today?
Okay, it's a good one.
Okay.
What year did dueling end in North Carolina?
Okay. All right, I can guess. We'll see if anybody out there has some good answers. And they're supposed to put them on the New Bern Now Facebook page, not on a share to a share to a share. Put it on the New Bern Now Facebook page.
And the only reason
good stuff.
Yeah, well, yep, a gift certificate to a local business. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, Susan, we haven't seen you for a while. What do you have happening?
Well, I've been quite busy, and I think the major focus lately has been the Christchurch vestry, and Paul Kennedy, the rector, they allowed us to hire a crane and remove the crown and weather vane that's 150 feet in the air at Christchurch. And the reason we did that is we wanted to regild the crown and the weather vane in 24 karat gold leaf. It had been done in 1989. So 32 years later, it was starting to look a little the worse for wear. And my husband and I decided if we didn't do it, it would never get done. So we got their permission, and we've had it in our porch, and we regilded it. We used 375 3x3 sheets of 24 karat triple gold leaf, and it is finished, and it is beautiful. Both are, and on the 14th of August, the crane is going to take both pieces along with the workmen, and it'll be reinstalled 150 feet in the air. So taking it down was one thing, putting it back is another, but we are so thrilled with it. And a friend of mine put it on Facebook, and then I followed up with some comments, but it is so exciting how people have been so, excited about it too. And the other part is a lot of people have never really even noticed it was there. It's one of those things, it's just there as an icon sort of for not just the church, but the community. So we're very excited that we were able to give this gift to the church, and we feel also the community. And we're really looking forward to seeing the sun shine on it because that's when it's spectacular. John did it in 1989. Wow. And in fact, they actually built the crown because the original one from the late 1800s blew down in 1960 during Hurricane Donna. And so anyway, he rebuilt it and made a new one actually. So anyway, we're tickled pink that we could do this, and can't wait to see it up there.
Now,
that's one of my main little projects lately.
What makes the gold leaf stick to the surface? I mean, it's really, really thin and really, really neat. How does it adhere?
It's micro thin. And what you do is, first we had to sand it, prime it, and then we would do like 9-inch sections at a time. John would put a size on it, and it would be very, very sticky. and then you place it on there. But working with the gold is, because it's so thin, it's so light. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, so what?
It's gonna look really, really neat. Yes, good.
It is. It's
Incredible.
just gorgeous.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
Susan, yeah, I got a chance to see it. It was almost done, and wow, you're already done with it. That's awesome. I can't wait to see the sun shining.
Yeah.
out, like you
All right,
said.
August
And Thank
15th.
you for
We're
doing
gonna
that.
stand
August
here and look
14th.
up 14
Early morning,
and look up in the air.
look up in the air, 150 feet up there.
Wow.
And I'm just glad I'm not going to have to be one who has to be in that cage. Crane taking it up there.
Wow, great. All
That's
right.
awesome. Totally awesome.
Mhm.
Very awesome.
Yeah, we think so too.
Usually see bird nests up there inside of the crown.
Yeah, but actually they had left when they went up there to get it. There was no indication that it was still there. But maybe now that it's nice and shiny, they'll say, "Oh,
They'll come back."
we need to go
Come
back."
back. A nice place to live now.
Yeah.
Pat, what have you got happening?
Oh, gosh, well, kind of all sorts of things, you know, glad things are opening up again, beginning to, you know, take some trips. We just returned from Hampton, Virginia. Just a quick up and back, went overnight, went to see the Air and Space Museum, and then did a boat cruise on the Hampton Bay there. That was very interesting. Got to see the naval shipyard from the water and all of the military ships docked, including the USS Cole. And the comfort ship, the hospital ship
Mhm.
that had gone up to New York for the beginning of the pandemic. So very interesting. I got to ride on a 1920s carousel. I was
That's
a little
scary.
hesitant, you know. I'm like, gosh, the horses seem so high. You know, of course, as a kid, you can climb up and get in there easily. I'm like, gosh.
Yeah.
But the attendant said, well, we can actually lower the horse and make it easier since you're only 4'11". I was like, all right.
Okay. Gosh. Well, what did they lower them for kids that have to
I
get
guess
on it?
they
for
can, but they
time?
do have, you know, like, it's not really a stirrup, but they have on either side, similar to a stirrup with like 3 rungs that you can use to climb up on. But,
Okay.
you know, as I've aged, I'm not as limber as I was the last time I was on a carousel. So I was like,
Yeah.
goodness. I'm like, well, you know, this may be my last time. I don't want to just sit in a little carriage or, you know, get on a
Go for
horse
it.
that was going to go up and down. So that was fun. We're enjoying being retired
Good.
overall.
Gosh.
Yeah, you're all over the place. It's awesome.
Great. Boy.
We've got 2 big trips planned for 2022. We're going to Iceland in February.
Oh,
Wow. Awesome.
And then June is our 25th wedding anniversary. So Mac, who's also kind of known as my sweetie, he booked a Viking cruise to Paris and Normandy.
Wow.
Well,
That's
let's just
good.
hope they all
Oh,
work.
boy.
So we're excited, you know, got in while things were still a little less expensive than I figured they're going to be, you know, and hopefully everything will stay open with COVID going on. So
Well,
we're
you've got
I
it.
excited.
hope it does, Pat, because, you know, right now, I think it's kind of iffy with a lot of cruises. I was going to go to New Zealand and Australia, and it was canceled. So, you know, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, we have 11 months, so hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, I hope for it.
Something neat to look forward to.
Yes, for sure, for
All
sure.
right.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things for Historical Society. We have 2 things going on now that we can talk about. August 12th, Eddie Ellis is going to be in town, and he's going to speak for the Historical Society at Coleman Hall and the North Carolina History Center. And he's going to talk about his new book is Whispers of the Long Departed, and it talks about the history of Southern Craven County. So he says it starts at the Trent River and runs all the way around to Adams Creek. So he's going to tell us about that. He's the one that wrote New Bern 101, which is kind of a fun book, a history book about New Bern and interesting stories. So that's Eddie Ellis coming on August the 12th. And then on September the 15th, Jim Hodges is going to do a long awaited and long prepared, is, you know, one of those COVID delayed things. He's going to do New Bern on the Move, which is the story of how many historic buildings in New Bern were moved from one point to another and preserved that way. They were able to continue using them. And he's going to talk specifically how they moved it. He spoke to the man that did that for a living and moved hundreds and hundreds of buildings over time. And Jim's going to talk about 16 specific historic buildings and how they moved, how they got them, and did they get them under or over the telephone pole wires and all those things that you have to deal with. So, and that'll be interesting. So that's September 15th. That's actually going to be a lunch and learn. That'll be our first where you get to have lunch.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's going to be a lunch and learn. That's going to be at Carolina Colors, September 15th. New Bern on the Move. That's Jim Hodges. And for either one of those, you can get tickets at newbernhistorical.org/tickets. Or simply pick up the telephone. That always works, 638-8558. So we've got stuff coming and we're working on all kinds of stuff. And, whatever comes, we'll work to make it safe. We'll do whatever we need to do to make it safe for all the folks who want to come and hear and listen and learn.
Yeah. Wow. Exciting things.
Yeah. How about Wendy?
Well, I have two things. People have reached out. I really don't want to, I'm not going to talk about the subject. I'm just going to make an announcement that the Craven County Commissioners meeting regarding critical race theory will be held on August 2nd at 7 p.m. at the New Bern Riverfront Convention Center.
Okay.
And people have been asking, that's a time, date. And so on a lighter note, guess what I have behind me?
Who have you got behind you? I've got to come look closer.
Isn't that cool?
That's neat. Where did you find
I
that?
can't see.
I saw a purple one that you bought. Is that from the same place you got the purple one?
Oh,
It is from the same place, and each podcast I'm gonna do a different artist or try to do. This artist, she was a young lady. I can't remember how old she was. Maybe 7, 8, 9. I don't know. I don't have kids, so
Wow.
around maybe younger. Her name is Ava, and her and her sister Emma and Ava. They're artists with Bugsy, BUGSYB, and so look up Bugsy B Artistic Designs on Facebook and like their page if you like what they're doing. I was just so thrilled to see their artwork, and there were young entrepreneurs. There was children. It was the second annual Children's Fair at the Craven County Fairgrounds. I think it was this past weekend, but I've interviewed all of them, or the majority of them, and I'll do little write-ups with their pictures on New Bern Now. It was just amazing. I mean, this young lady's pitch, business pitch, was better than so many adults that I've ever heard. I was blown away, and it was I just wish more people had come out, and hopefully they will next year. But these little and they're not all artists, they're all different types of businesses. So yeah, wow. It was great to see.
And all young people.
sounds like
Yeah.
I love that behind you with the light and the brightness coming out of the darkness and the motion.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very cool. It kind of looks like my hair is extending. So I got
Like your head's on fire.
Yeah. But that was really cool. And the young entrepreneurs, and actually the youngest one, I got a painting, and I think she was 3 or 4 years old. She was incredible. She was dancing, and she was just so much fun. And yeah, it was interesting. So
What's the name of it again, Wendy? The name of the organization?
it's
Bugsy?
Bugsy, BUGSY, BEE, Artistic Designs, and that's on Facebook.
And
Okay.
the event that you went to?
And the event was the second annual Children's Business Fair. So,
Children's Business
Okay.
Fair. So we'll look for the Children's Business Fair to come around again.
yeah.
That's really a good idea to have, young people who are interested in being entrepreneurs to have a fair and bring them all together. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and I should have wrote the name of the organization down. Empowering Minds. Sharita and Deborah Kanya was there. It was a great event. So thank you for putting on that great event for those children. And speaking of entrepreneurs, we have New Bern Now's Peace of Mind.
I can tell who that's going to be.
Yeah.
Jeremy LeRay is the man,
All
and
right.
he's with New Bern Web Design.
The Magic Man.
It rhymes. New Bern Now's
Hey,
Peace of
Jeremy.
Mind.
Hey, how are you all?
Good. Hi,
Good. How are you
Jeremy.
doing?
All right. I was trying to get my settings tested a little bit ahead of time, and anyway, hopefully it's going to work out okay. And
You look great.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
You all do too. It's good to see you all. I know we've talked about being excited about getting together in person again, so we can do this. But isn't it great that we can do this now, and it's working? So I had logged in a little bit ago and it dropped. So I'm hoping that things will be good here at my office for a little bit longer, so we can get through this a little bit. So, but yeah, great to hear what's going on with you all today. Wendy, it's good to see you stopping by the office the other day. Thank you for that visit.
Yeah, I don't get out much. I mean, I get out, I'm taking pictures and stuff, but actually going and visiting people, in the offices now that things are lifting up a little bit. And hopefully the Pod Squad will be going on the road soon. Yeah, but this is really convenient. And
Absolutely.
Jeremy, what have you been doing today? Have you been out on your boat today?
Nothing, not on the boat today. That was last weekend. So today's just been work. I got some new dirt delivered at the house. I was telling somebody earlier, we're working on putting some new beds in. And unfortunately, where our house is on the farm, we have some very poor soil. As the joke goes, it's like we have some of the best soil in Jones County and some of the worst soil in Jones County. Unfortunately, it's all about 3 feet apart from each other. So I'm just, every time I dig a hole, I typically throw out what I dig and put in some new stuff around my plant. So my father-in-law brought me some dirt today. So we're working on a couple of raised beds and trying to do some things like that. So that's how I started my day anyway.
What are you planting?
Ma'am?
What are you planting?
My first bed is going to be some roses that I got through a connection from Miss Mickey. And I had them last fall. Somehow they made it through the winter. I ended up potting them and working on getting those in. So I've got 4 English roses. So I'm working on kind of putting some things around them that hopefully will work well on the perennial side of things. And then I've got another bed up front that'll be some trees and some more perennials and things. I have a lot of daylilies, so I like to spread those out. Of course, they're always needing to be divided and that sort of thing. So my challenge right now is I need some things that are evergreen around the house because everything loses its leaves or dies when the frost hits. So that's kind of on my list of trying to figure out what to put in there that'll stick.
How do you keep the deer from eating everything you're planting?
Well, there's that too. They kind of come and munch here and there. I have a bonsai fig bush on the front porch that something came up and dug in and gnawed on. So I don't think that was a deer, but anyway, there's always something. I tell everybody from our days when we were farming that if we like to eat it, there's something else that likes to eat it as much or more than we do, whether it's chickens or whatever else you grow in the garden. Something else is always competing for that. So,
Boy, have you got goings on for New Bern Web Design?
Yes, ma'am. Business has been good. Last year was interesting for all of us. I think that things are turning back around. Folks are getting out. They're interested in investing in their businesses more. Certainly last year, everybody was just kind of just so much of, if you weren't stopped, it was a wait and see kind of thing. So I think now people are feeling more positive. So I'm getting more calls. I'm more busy. People wanting to do new things, new business startups. So that's fun. And then some folks are kind of revamping some. So I've got some longtime clients that are finding the time now to talk about redesigning some websites and get them a little bit more up to date. So that's good.
All right.
Yeah, and actually you redesigned. I showed you what I want.
You told me what
for
to
New
do.
Bern now. And you did your magic. So that was just freaking, that was amazing last year. So we did that during you know, the pandemic, when things were slowed down. And well, it's still the pandemic, but
But that was all your ideas and your everything. I just helped you put it on the screen. How's that sound? So
well, here you work your magic, and
take
you
that
know,
credit for that. I know, Wendy, when we talked the other day, you said you really wanted me to kind of talk about our websites and how important they are for our businesses. And I think last year was, well, we've had plenty of years lately of things that we need to make sure we're online for, but I always think about the question I got. I was looking back over my website, which we'll talk about in just a second. Remind me to say something about my website, Wendy. When we've had the hurricane, things have gone bad in person, so to speak. We had businesses that were closed for a period of time, and certainly a downturn in our town. And then last year we had so many things that were just totally shut down, and those that didn't have some sort of presence online definitely felt the challenges of that. That even led to program through Swiss Fair with the Shop Downtown website that we help work with to give vendors that maybe didn't have an online presence to sell, that they can do that online. So that was one of those things. But mainly, I think I used to get this question more than I do now. I've got Facebook. Do I really need a website? And the answer is resounding yes, you do. And mainly, you know, you don't control Facebook. We're always kind of rebounding what they do next and how they're going to change things and that sort of thing. And so it's definitely something that's important. Social media is definitely important, but we can control our websites. It's the one thing that we quote unquote own on the web, and we've got control of that as business owners. We have our domain that is our brand, and that's so important. Now, all the other things are there that can help get traffic to your website, but I think it's just important that we remember that. I'm trying to remember the analogy that I used to use. I guess we talked about being maybe when we're out more networking in the community, we're talking to other people. That's kind of our social side of things, literally and figuratively. And those maybe can be our Instagram, Facebook, different types of social things. But we're always telling people, here's my business card, come back to my business, come back to my website. So our website itself is more of our face-to-face when we're meeting people at our business is how I look at that. And of course, it's available 24/7. So that's the important thing too. It's always there. It's always there answering questions for our clients. It's there to sell our products. So that's important. And I think that we just need to remember that. So even if you're doing everything else that you need to be doing with social, it's still got to be coming back to your website, because that's what you've got control over time and time again. So I was going to say about my website. Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
100%, Jeremy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. My website's, it's kind of one of those things where, I mean, you always hear about the cobbler's shoes thing, but I've been trying to redesign mine for a while. The last time I did it, I was kind of working on something in the background, and I finally one day I just started working on it live and broke it. I'm like, okay, just break it. You're going to have to fix it to get it going again. So that was kind of my motivation to kind of not sit on it for too long. But I've got another version. I'm still trying to work on some different branding and services that can be available. So as soon as that is available, we'll let you all know. But it's always a work in progress. I know, I feel for my clients, because I have the same challenge trying to figure out how I want things to look. And I think done is better than perfect. I think that we want to have things to be just right every single time. But I think it's more important to have something out there, not misinformation or wrong stuff, but you're always going to tweak it. And that's what's beautiful about having, the web. We can always change things. Nothing's carved in stone, but just kind of get something done, get it out there, let your folks come see it. And then you can make changes along the way. And I'm having to remind myself of that regularly. So,
Are you newbernwebdesign.com?
yes, ma'am. newbernwebdesign.com. Next year, January, we'll be starting our 10th year. So,
Wow.
I can't believe it's
yay!
Oh, congratulations.
that long. That long since I
Time
started,
flies, huh?
ma'am. What was that? Ricky?
Time flies. that's
Yes,
for
when
sure.
you think about where my office used to be, behind Bobby Bell's Nationwide Insurance, where basically the new Harris Teeter is right now. So I had a little space I rented from them, and it was an interesting time because we knew that Harris Teeter and that whole shopping center was coming for a good period of time, and we didn't quite know when. So I'd been looking for a while to find something, and it's thankful that I ended up finding a place downtown when it all came. But I actually got a piece of mail went to the postal annex over there. That's right across from Harris Teeter, that whole section right there. And for some reason, I'm not sure, I don't even remember what it was, but she called me and said, Mr. LeRay, we've got some mail for you. And I'm like, what in the world? And that was whatever had gone to that old address. And that was the closest thing. Obviously, they would take mail being postal annex. And so they had a strange piece of mail for me and this probably was last year. So I haven't been there since, well, I don't know, how long was Harrison been there? Probably 5 years now. So it's pretty interesting how things, there's still a spot on the ground over there somewhere that used to be where we were, but it only exists in our memory now, I guess. So.
But the
Yeah.
police found you and delivered the mail. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, ma'am.
Jeremy, I don't know if, I know it makes sense to have a website if you're in business.
Mhm.
But if you aren't, does it make any sense, or can you give any examples of people who just do their own website, and what
You mean for a
would be the
personal
point?
site or something like that?
Mhm, yeah.
I can't think of anything specific. It would really be kind of like, what's your goal in doing that? But one of the cool things that I'm trying to start working with my customers with right now is, especially with Instagram, you can't really do links to just anything on your post, but you can have a link in your bio. So I'm encouraging folks to come up with a special page on their website. So, Wendy could be newbernnow.com/Instagram or /bio. And then she can put that link on one of her social profiles. And then she can put anything on that site she wants, or anything on that page that she wants those folks to see that are specifically coming to that link. So it could be a bio page telling a little bit about her. It could be a special she's running just for Instagram people, that sort of thing. So having an actual page on a site like that, Susan, would be an example I could think of. So that's something I want to do. And then you can always change that one page. The website itself wouldn't change, but the /bio or /Instagram after your .com could be something special that you just link to from Facebook or Instagram or any other social profiles. So
Yeah. Actually,
go ahead, Mindy.
as far as I know, there's a bed and breakfast. Actually, it's they just rent out their house. Well, they have a business. It's a business page on newbernnow.com. So it's newbernnow.com/Bern Rivers Guest House. That way people can see the pictures and the description in that, but they don't have to maintain a website. It is just a web page, but it's in, like, New Bern Now we've been doing this 12 years. So it's like a mini search engine for New Bern, you know what I mean? So that could be a web page. And also, as far as people like artists or writers, there's a lot of independent people that have work, or they have a personal blog. They have a story to tell. They need a website or a web page somewhere. I guess where I'm going is, like Jeremy said, with, say, Facebook. You have somebody that posts 20 times a day. By the time you're like, where did I see that? What was that about? You know what I mean? And it's gone. And if you're trying to help promote somebody and you're paying someone, they're saying, hey, I'll get you could reach 10,000 people and you pay me and I'll put you on Facebook, well, that post is like, where did it go? It was there for, how long is a Facebook post last? Unless somebody reignites that, or somebody can report your Facebook page and you'll be in Facebook jail. And it happens. Touch wood, I've never been in Facebook jail, and I'm from now since I said that, but things are changing fast. So I really recommend reaching out to Jeremy, or somebody to create a website. Some people can do it themselves, but Jeremy is a great starting point for that. So
How do people do that? Reach out to Jeremy and talk to him?
newbernwebdesign.com will get you there. So newbernwebdesign.com, there's a contact form there, so you can get to me that way. The best way.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing, people aren't always on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. A lot of people left because they didn't want to hear about politics or whatever things going on. So they're not on social media. So how are you going to reach that person that has money and they want to spend it, but they don't know about you. So
Let me say one other thing about this, and this isn't a website. This is just kind of one of the new things that are becoming seemingly more important, with Google being the big search engine. It used to, I don't remember how many years ago it was now, when Bing came on the scene as a search engine, I think the term was they were 25% of the search market worldwide. And so it's like, why would you ignore 25% of possible clients and not do something with Bing? So put your post up there. I think it's down to maybe 5 now. So Google has just really
wow.
just everything else. I was trying to search for that the other day to figure out what the share was, and Google's got over 90%, I think, of the global search. But with that being said, Google My Business is something that you need to look at. So make sure you've got your Google My Business page filled out and done appropriately, because that's going to help you get found by Google faster, especially in the local side of things. So Google My Business, you got your Google account, just go there and make sure that you claimed your business, make sure everything's accurate and that sort of thing. So,
that's a great point.
Yeah. Some questions for me.
What's your favorite social media site?
Instagram. I don't, other than some Facebook groups, that there's a great sailboat group for our Catalina 25. I really enjoy that. And some search engine things for groups on Facebook, but I just don't spend as much time there. I flip through Instagram more than anything. And I'll look at LinkedIn occasionally. So I think, as far as a social hint for folks, just, you don't have to be everywhere, in my opinion. You've got to find the ones that you're comfortable with. Obviously, it's kind of nice if your clients are comfortable with it too, because you're kind of in the same space. I get that, but trying to do everything is just impossible. So just find the one that you like and spend that time there and put the information there for your folks. So
yeah, well, and like this Facebook Live is going to be downloaded. The video is going to be downloaded, and then I upload to YouTube, because there's people, that go to YouTube. Actually, a lot more people probably searching on YouTube than anything. I mean, that's a huge search engine. So it's important to repurpose your content any chance you can get. And that way you have that video, it's on your computer and you have that. So if your Facebook, whatever page goes away, you have your video and photos and all that stuff. So yeah.
Good.
And hopefully nothing's going away. I don't mean to scare anyone. It's just
but you got to be ready, because we just don't know.
yeah. So
Okay, so if you need help with Facebook or with building your page, your web page, Jeremy's the one you need to go talk to. So go find him at newbernwebdesign.com. He'll be there.
Yes, ma'am.
and he's our peace of mind. You're our peace of mind. And I'm serious. So you've been doing our website for at least 10 years, I think.
One last question. Where are you downtown, Jeremy?
I'm on Metcalf Street. So I'm 315 Metcalf Street. I'm in the Southern Tate building, just behind United Way. We share, and just around from the Historical Society. And I can smell bacon coming from Savages when Doug's working on bacon ready for lunch.
Okay. All right. You're right there. You can walk across the street and get pizza.
Absolutely. I had it for lunch. So.
Yeah. Well, hey,
once a week.
How'd you like them cookies?
They were great. Thank you so much.
Have y'all had 3-1 cookies and coffee? Brian Cardoza, the food truck. Oh my gosh. I haven't had a cookie in forever, but they had a sugar-free, gluten-free cheesecake. It was a little thing, but Brian's selling his goods also at Savages. So if you don't see the food truck, go to Savages. They've got all kinds of cookies. And yeah, so yeah.
And wave to Jeremy across the street.
Yeah. But Jeremy, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for inviting me.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Have a good
Seeing
day.
you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Great.
Yeah,
He's the one to go to if you need help with that stuff.
he is. And they also have a little, it's not bed and breakfast, it's a Airbnb. So reach out to look at this stream afterwards and I'll put the information in it.
You're like me. Yeah,
I had the pamphlet next to my computer, so I don't know where it went, but it's a nice little place where you can relax. There's no TV and there's no internet. It's on a farm and it's a place to just unwind. So,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Tell us again about your trivia question. I have forgotten.
Yeah, the trivia. Okay. What year did dueling end in North Carolina? And guess who's watching?
Who's watching?
Rob Jones.
Ah, I bet he knows.
He said, that's a good looking group of folks. Thanks, Rob. I know you probably know this answer. Rob works at Tryon Palace in the North Carolina History Center. He's the technology guru. So yeah, and Tryon Palace has got a lot going on.
Okay.
And
Right.
yeah, so
well, there's lots of things happening around town. I mean, what is today? Today's the 29th. So today, Craven Community College is having an open house from 5:30 to 7 in Ward Hall on the New Bern campus. And if you want to know anything about it, give them a call at 638-4597.
yeah. And there'll be a public meeting on the rebuilding and relocation of the Stanley White Recreation Center. The FEMA draft assessment came back, and that's going to be tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. The 29th at the Omega Center at 800 Cedar Street. So,
okay. All right. Also on the 29th, the Ukulele Jam. Okay. I used to be able to play a ukulele. That's at 7:30 at Surf, Wind and Fire on 230 Middle Street, right downtown. Call them up at 288-5823 and go down and jam with your ukulele.
And
yeah.
on the
Go
on the
ahead.
31st and 31st, books and more sale. Friday from 10 to 4 and Saturday from noon to 4 p.m. And this is in Havelock at the Havelock Library, 301 Cunningham Boulevard. And this is being presented by the Friends of the Havelock Craven County Public Library.
Okay.
Also, on the 31st, Craft Day from 9 to 12 at Poor Charlie's Flea Market and Antiques at 208 Hancock Street. And if you need any information, just call 514-7127.
Okay. On the 31st, walk-in bathtub guys are back, guys and gals, with our friend George. And they are going to do Uncommon Instruments Day. I wonder what that is. 7:30
God
p.m.
only knows.
Theater. I know. Lord knows what they'll come up with. At the Civic Theater at 414 Pollock Street. Give them a call at 633-0567. That's the box office, and they'll get you a ticket.
Yeah, and speaking of uncommon instruments, David English with Black Owl Guitars, he creates guitars out of cigar boxes and kazoos and all kinds of stuff. So Google Black Owl Guitars and visit our friend David English.
Okay. All right. And for anything music, check out the New Bern Music Calendar. They tell you everything you want to know about local bands and where there's playing and what kind of music is where and anything you want to know. So it's New Bern Music Calendar.
Yeah, and that's Joanne Friedman. That's a lot of work to maintain. I know that for a fact because I have maintained the New Bern Now calendar, and it can be a challenging thing to manage. And speaking of an event for the calendar, Rob Jones says you got to check out Stanley Spate Duel at New Bern Academy September 4th.
September 4th at the Academy ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Susan knows something about the Stanley Spate Duel. Well, I know Kathy does too, but you're a member of the, are you a member of the DAR Chapter 2, Kathy, or?
No, Susan is,
Susan is.
I
Yeah.
am, yeah.
has the DAR information, yeah.
And also, well, on that same thought, it was right across the street behind the Masonic Temple where the duel actually took place. So it's very interesting to have it there at the Academy.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, yeah, do you want to talk about the grave, his grave, Richard Dobbs Bates' grave on Matamore's
Well, the
Lane?
grave site is on Matamore's Lane, and there is a marker. And the grave site, you can actually drive in there, and the grave site is there, and a lot of restoration has taken place by the local chapter of the DAR, the Richard Dobbs Bates chapter, and there's a very nice marble bench there. The grounds are being maintained much better in the last few years. And there's also a historic marker. It is, knowing he was a signer of the Constitution and the first native-born governor, it's unfortunate, I think, that we aren't as a community more aware of Richard Dobbs Bates. That famous painting that you see of the signing of the Constitution, that's Richard Dobbs Bates. So, it's really, really very wonderful to be living in a town that's so small, thinking, nationwide, and yet played a major role in every part of our country's history. So I'll get off my little soapbox, but
No,
that's very, very
it was-
amazing. And when I moved here, I was blown away, to be living in a community that truly had a role from the day it was founded, even as a colony, and the role it's played in our country, and it continues to. So
Yeah.
read your history books, guys. You'll be amazed at how much good stuff happened right here in New Bern.
There's a lot of history here for sure. And we've seen the duel, the reenactment, and that's a wonderful thing to go and see and watch. And it's always good to see so many children, and even some of the attendees were in period dress the year Mac and I went. So it's really an interesting thing to see.
The only thing that I think is disappointing is the fact that the John Stanley is the one who, shot and killed Richard Dobbs Bates, but there's so much emphasis on John Stanley, and few people really realize, that the figure who was killed was the one who was paramount in, our early history. So again, get off my soapbox, but that's a fact.
All right.
Yeah, and if you're watching, and the trivia question is, what was the date? What was it? Come on, Wendy.
The dueling was outlawed.
There you go. Yeah. What year did dueling end in North Carolina?
And okay,
Yep.
what year did dueling end? Okay.
Well, officially, who knows? Maybe they did some.
It
Snuck out
continued.
the back 40 and did a little, yeah. All right, speaking of the back 40, the farmer's market is there every Saturday. You can find great vegetables, fruits, vegetables, all kinds of good things, and lots of crafts. That's every Saturday at 421 South Front Street from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And to find out more information, give Julie a call at 633-0043, and she'll
Yeah.
tell you what you need to know.
And you can rent out the farmer's market if you want on a day they're not having the market. And what else was going on with the market? Kitty, her daughter Kitty does a video pretty much every Saturday, and like a little tour of what's going on. And
Facebook Live, you can see what's there that day.
I think that's really helpful. So it's a neat, good for them. They've come a long way. So
Yeah, they also make a spot available for nonprofits, and they have a nonprofit rate. So for example, over the years, I know the New Bern Civitan Club have sold their peanuts, They usually do those over the holidays.
That's right.
Chocolate covered and regular ones, but they make a space in the front available to nonprofits if you have a product to sell as a fundraiser. So that's really a nice thing too, to help our community.
It is.
And it's, you know, a fun place to go wander through each Saturday morning and see all the new and interesting things that are there.
Yeah, last time I went, it was 2 weeks ago, and I saw my old chief that I was, he replaced me as the decedent affairs officer on base when I retired. And he has a booth at the market every Saturday. So I'm like, holy cow, man, I haven't seen you since 2007, I think. But
what does he sell? What is his product?
He sells, he makes things out of driftwood. So
okay.
yeah, he
Out
says,
front that paints the birds and things out of the driftwood.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
Eric. Yeah. So it was great. It's good to catch
I
up
have
with
one of
old
his
friends.
booths. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We're all connected somehow, you know?
You never know.
Yeah, it's a small world for sure.
That's why you
Yeah.
always say good things about people, because you never know. That's what mother told you. Always
That's right.
good things and wear a clean slip. Boy. Well, we got stuff coming up in August. Because
Yes,
August is next week.
Next week, yeah.
that's right.
Wow.
And on the 1st is New Bern Drum Circle from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Union Point Park. And that is being held near the gazebo.
Okay. All right. And then from the 6th to the 8th is the big book sale. All right. This is at St. Paul's Catholic Church Family Life Center. This is going to be Friday and Saturday from 9 to 5, and on Sunday again from 12:30 to 4:30. Presented by the Friends of the New Bern Craven County Library. That is always a good collection of books to go through and find your favorites and find bargains and things. That's a wonderful book sale.
Yeah, and they have DVDs, mixed media. They've got all kinds of things. So, and they said this year they're going to have like more than they've ever had. So
Okay.
good for them. It's a great fundraiser. So the Havelock one is on the 30th through the 31st at the Havelock Library. And this one is on the 6th through the 8th at St. Paul Catholic Church Family Life Center. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And on the
Well,
7th, we have the
mhm.
Craven County Clean Sweep from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. at the Havelock City Hall parking lot. So they're going to do a clean sweep. That's on 1 Governmental Avenue in Havelock. Give them a call at 633-1477.
And the Craven County Clean Sweep from 8:30 to 9:30 on the 7th also. And it's at the Craven County Administration Building or parking lot. And that's at 406 Craven Street. If you want any more information, 633-1477.
And they're still busy. They're doing another place actually on August 7th. Going to be 8:30 to 9:30 at the West Craven Park, 2791 Streets Ferry Road in Vanceboro. And again, that number is 252-633-1477. They're really hardworking folks. They have three different locations on August 7th that they'll be working to help keep our community clean. I wish we didn't need it, but I understand the need, and I'm glad that organization is there.
With all this clean sweep on the 7th, by the 8th, Craven County is going to be we're clean sweeping in Havelock, in Craven County, in New Bern, and in Vanceboro. So they'll help out anywhere along the line.
Yeah, hopefully they get lots of volunteers.
Yeah, and I just speaking of cleaning like the roads and the waterways, I always keep like a bag full of trash bags in my vehicle because I'll go in the forest and I'll see a whole bunch of trash, or I'll go wherever. So let's all do our part. If we all did it, then we'd have a beautiful, like sparkling clean city. So
Absolutely.
Well, I think the other part is too, in doing our part, is making sure that, we don't throw trash out of the window. The other day, my husband and I were I don't know where we were anyway, as we were driving along, and here's this, suddenly this guy ahead of us throws a styrofoam cup out his window. And I mean, it's so irritating. It's why can't they leave the cup there, and when they get home, put it in the trash can?
Yep.
I'm not sure why that doesn't connect, but it doesn't. Fortunately, there's a lot of nice people who volunteer to go pick up all this trash that all these unkind people throw
I
away.
always like the T-shirt that said, "Your mother doesn't live here. Clean up after yourself."
Yeah.
I just,
Kind of hard to.
Mom taught you to do right, so do it.
Hopefully, yeah.
It's hard enough with it along the roadside or on the sidewalk or the streets or in the park, but we've got so much water in the rivers and the animals in the river, the crabs and the fish, and maybe even an alligator or two out there over the years we've had. But that impacts it so much more, and especially your plastics.
Yes, it's killing a lot of
And
marine life.
speaking of our rivers, I want to give a shout out to Sound Rivers, our upper and lower Noose river keepers. They are doing a tremendous job. They're doing water testing or water sampling. And every Friday in the afternoon, they're putting out a report of where they find E. coli or whatever, where it's safe to recreate in the different waterways. And I don't remember them doing that in the past. They may have, and I don't remember receiving updates. So I think it's awesome what they're doing. And what else about that? So it costs money to do those samples.
Oh, yeah.
So please donate, even if it's $5. Katie Hunt Langley was on here a few months back, and she was saying that the cost of the samples, if everyone donated like $5 or whatever you can, that can help continue the samples of the water. And
Water quality.
yeah, and another thing, I'm going to say alligators again.
Alligator.
Like alligators.
A couple weeks ago, there was a couple representatives in the city had announced, don't go to the water, stay out of the water, keep your kids out of the water. And people have panicked. I say that because I'm out there seeing people that are, afraid to go near the water and asking me, why I'm standing in the water or near the water. It's the alligators, they've been here before us. And it's not like we're in Florida, like down in Sanibel Island, you'll see them everywhere, all over in probably Louisiana, but they're laying on people's lawns and stuff. Out of all the time I've spent on the water, I've only seen the alligators in the Croatan, and I think I spotted one in the distance at Lawson Creek Park. But just be aware. Don't be afraid. Just be aware that the possibility is there. So just like a bear, be aware.
Well, when you're out in the woods, you ought to always be aware of your surroundings. So
That's for
that's
sure.
good advice.
Oh yeah, you never know.
All right.
Even the ticks,
Yes, be aware. All right. But we
Could I
went,
put a plug in for the North Carolina Aquarium Society?
Oh yes.
People are returning and visiting the aquariums. The nice part is that you can actually reserve a time to go. And they found that it has really worked well where people, there are fewer people, so they can actually enjoy a lot of the exhibits, when before a lot of times the numbers would be so great. People really couldn't spend as much time at an exhibit as they would like to. So, feel free to go online and sign up for a time. And then one of the things that we're very, very proud of too, is the Aquarium Society has received the 4-star rating again from Charity Navigator. And that's an organization that rates all the zoos and aquariums. And it really shows that that's the highest rating you can get. And, you know, we're all very proud of that because we do have 4 outstanding, the 3 aquariums and then Jeanette's Pier. And I just want to say there's lots of new exhibits at all of the sites. And also, you know, Fort Fisher, before COVID, we were pushing to have a huge fundraising campaign to renovate Fort Fisher. And of course, that was put on hold, but now things are getting better. You know, hopefully we can make plans, and the architects are looking at it again. And maybe in a few years, after 30 million is raised, we will have a fabulous Fort Fisher aquarium to go along with all the other 3. Not to say it's not really fabulous right now too, but like everything, you know, expanding exhibits and all that just always is a very nice thing to move forward. So thank you for letting me do that.
Well, for information on all those places and all these events, go to newbernnow.com and look at the community calendar and see everything that's happening there. And we have a trivia question that hasn't been answered.
Yeah. And the question is, what year did dueling end in North Carolina? Rob Jones?
Rob, is he saying?
I don't know who else is watching, but I saw he was the last one to comment. So comment in the string.
Right there.
Yeah. And
on the New Bern Now site.
let's see, is there anything else before?
I think we're good.
Okay, well, let's get to the answer then.
All right.
Anybody?
Are we going to guess if nobody guesses?
Yes. So if you're not guessing, so if you're watching this later, sorry, you have to answer during the live stream to win the contest. So
Okay.
yeah. And
All right.
so
Gotta guess.
what year did dueling end in North Carolina?
I'm going to
I
guess
would-
1802.
I was going to say 81 or 1881 or 2, right after the famous duel.
Okay.
Are
Pat?
we close?
1885.
Okay. Now I'm sure it's
It's
well
in
before
between.
the
It's
war.
in between.
Okay.
It's
1815.
3 and 4.
What was that, Kathy?
1815.
Oh, no.
No, it was
18,
before
it
that.
was 1856.
56. Okay.
Wow.
56.
Earlier.
Yeah, the Stanley White duel was, or Stanley Spate duel was 1802, right?
Right.
Right.
And the last recorded duel among North Carolinians and one of the last duels in the South was fought. Joseph Flanner and William Crawford Wilkins, both of Wilmington, battled just across the border in South Carolina. The duel resulted in Wilkins' death. So,
But that was the last, were you asking the last one or when it was legally outlawed? I thought that's what you were asking.
it said, what year did dueling end in North
Oh,
Carolina?
and, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that
All
was
right.
from the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. And that's a great website. They've got all kinds of things as far as today in history. And if you want to find out what's going on across the state, they've got so much wonderful information. So, yeah.
Mhm. So we all learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad it ended and there's no more dueling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, until you start
Touch
looking
wood.
at weapons now, I mean,
Yes.
That's right.
duel would be probably safer.
I'll grab their sword. Give me that.
All right, Wendy, is that it?
Well, is that a wrap?
Guess so.
Sounds like a wrap.
That's it.
Is
All
that
right.
Susan? Is that a wrap?
Pardon?
Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Well, we want you to send us your announcements, stories, and or events, and we'll add them to the calendar at New Bern Now's website. Let us know if you'd like to be a guest or if you have any questions or suggestions by calling 252-259-6853 or send us an email at info@newbernnow.com. And join us next week on August 5th from 1 to 2 p.m. as we Zoom live on New Bern Now's Facebook page. The video and audio will be uploaded to newbernnow.com, YouTube, iTunes, and wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can also listen to the show on New Bern's talk radio station, WNOS 103.9 FM, by tuning in every Wednesday, both at 8 a.m. and at 5 p.m. So we thank you all for listening, and we want you to have a great day.
Take care.
Woo!
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You
Thanks for
too.
joining us. Bye.
Okay.